in many different ways for this day actually happening. Governor McKee, Speaker of the House Joe Shekarchi, these two have provided the state share of funding for these federal grants for every one of our hundreds of millions of dollars of projects that are going in the ground as we stand here today. Senator Jack Reed, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Magaziner, for bringing into Rhode Island, in this case, another $25 million of federal funding for projects here in transportation in Rhode Island. They have our backs. They are providing the funding, and we're putting it in the ground as they provided it to us. Derek Torrey, Rhode Island Division Administrator at Federal Highway Administration. Federal Highway is our partner in this. They're the conduit for all of these projects and the money that's being funded to us. And I can't thank Derek enough for being here today. Like many projects we're doing, there is a local partnership that's necessary in order to make them viable and benefit the local community. And Warwick Mayor Frank Picozzi has been an advocate for his city in this project. There are aspects of it that we've included and that we will be including as a result of his advocacy, and we're happy to have him on board and a partner in the project. And of course, Mike Sabatoni, longtime friend and associate of mine, whose labor force puts their shoulder into these projects, and it's their hands and their work that get our projects built. And I thank them all. These projects won't happen or wouldn't happen without all of their help. This is a project that is part of a long-term, multi-phase effort that we're making at DOT to correct over 20 bridges and fix over 20 bridges in the roadway of Route 37. It's a $25 million raise grant for this project, but when you add up the 3 phases of work that we're doing along Route 37, we have received, including this, $66 million for the work that we're doing along 37. Like some highways in Rhode Island, this one was overbuilt back in the 50s and 60s when it was originally built. It was overbuilt because it was originally intended to continue through Warwick to Conimicut, through the Speaker's house, and across to the East Bay to connect East Bay and West Bay. But that never happened. And during the years, all of that land now has been developed and there are houses on it. We wouldn't want to have to move the Speaker, but there are many more businesses and houses that have been built along there, so it's not going to get built. So our folks reimagined this bridge fixing and highway fixing project to include the freeing up of about 9 acres of developable economic development potential for the city of Warwick. And in the meantime, get rid of these bridges that are in back of us that are being held up with Lincoln logs that are no longer necessary, and we'll be taking those down and replacing them with brand new infrastructure at this end of 37 that will correct a lot of transportation issues that happen around here. In addition to that, we've included in this grant and in this project transit features that will help move RIPTA further along in their transit master plan development. We have a component that will complete part of that project as part of this project, and additional bike and pedestrian lanes that will benefit those other modes of transportation. The infusion of this money really is an effort of everyone from the state all the way to the federal government, putting their shoulder into this project and making sure that at the federal, city, and state partnership level that we got this grant, and I appreciate that and thank everyone here for us. As I said, tearing down the bridges behind me is going to free up 9 acres of economic development potential in the land adjacent behind those trees that you see on the south side of this project, of this location. And I just can't wait to finish all of the work that we're doing over the next few years on 37. 37 is an important east-west connection. It connects 295 with 95 with Route 1, and tens of thousands of people use it every day and will be very happy, I'm sure, with the outcome of this project. Governor McKee, as I said before, has been a tremendous supporter for not only our Route 37 project, but for all of our DOT projects. And I'd like to ask him to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Director, and it's great to be here in Warwick and to be announcing more road improvements, more bridge improvements in the state of Rhode Island. We're not here, again, without our congressional delegation. So again, I would like to thank Senator Reid, Senator White House, Congressman Magaziner, for that work on behalf of Rhode Island. And as the Director said, we've been partnering with our General Assembly members as well, our Speaker, our Senate President. Just 2 years ago in the budget, we used $100 million of our surplus to free up over $450,000 of federal aid. So we're doing our part, and so it's a state, it's a local, in this case, Warwick Mayor, thank you so much for being here and your leadership as well, and a federal partnership. Route 37 is a critical urban freight corridor connecting interstates 95 and 295 and Route 1. And I know the people here on the business community, and in particular Belize Toyota, thank you for allowing us to host this event, this important event here, this announcement today, and all residents in Warwick, Cranston, and across the state of Rhode Island and beyond are going to benefit as we continue to repair our roads and to repair our bridges and really investing in our infrastructure in the state of Rhode Island in a way that we have not done in recent memory. And we know that we're going to continue to improve our infrastructure, and we're committed to do that. And I want to thank Director Alviti and the DOT staff, along with Mike Sabatoni and the workers that are going to be working on this project. This is a team effort, and we intend to continue to improve our roads so that it's not only recognized by the people in the state of Rhode Island, but also as the national rankings continue to give us recognition for the work that is being done. So it advances our goal on bicycle mobility and transit master plan, ensuring bicyclists have a safe place to ride and get exercise. So it's an all-in project that I'm looking forward to seeing completed, not just for the residents of Warwick, but all Rhode Islanders, and a great example of the partnership between the federal, state, and local government. And I thank our partners in government for being here today. Senator, how are you? Good to see you. And all our reps and senators for their help. With that, I'd like to bring up our speaker, Joe Sakachi, who is familiar to Warwick.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning. It's always good to be in Warwick, and I thank the Governor for that introduction. And it's a great day. It's not too sunny. Where is Matt Sheaf? I always complain about him. There you are, putting the podium in the sun. So today we don't have to worry about it as long as it doesn't rain. So thank you. We're truly unique in Rhode Island. Our elected officials get together often, and we work closely together to get good things done. And it's not the case throughout the country, so we should recognize that. There's no finer example than this project that will benefit so many Rhode Islanders. This is the third and final phase of the Route 37 project. It's being kicked off today and will enhance traffic safety, transit options, while meeting the transportation needs of tomorrow. But there's a big secret about this project that hasn't been really told, is that once this project gets completed, there'll be approximately 9 acres of surplus land that could be developed. And why that is so critical and so important is because we have great partners in our local level. And Mayor Picozzi, our council president, Steve McAllister, and the city council in general, we approved at the other end of Post Road last week 200 units of housing. In addition to that, earlier this year, we approved a comprehensive redevelopment of the old Inn and Hope property. And when this gets approved, there'll be 7 to 9 acres of land that can be developed for high-paying private sector development. And I want to congratulate the city to make that happen. It's not always easy. As you know, developments are never always wanted or uniquely loved or beloved, but they're needed to keep the economic wheels of working in our state for jobs. So I want to congratulate the city for that, and I thank Director Alviti for this, not only improvements, but for hopefully the surplus land. I have often said that Rhode Island's federal delegation punches above its weight, and that is so true and no more truer than today. Senator Jack Reed, Sheldon Whitehouse, Congressman Seth Magaziner are an unbeatable team in securing so many critical grants and funding for our state, not only for transportation, but for housing, for education, and certainly for this project here today. Governor McKee and the General Assembly were proud to work with and support, and I want to give credit to the Senate President. I know he's not here today, but he's being represented by no better senator than Senator Gallo. So my good friend Hannah's here from the fine city of Cranston. We were happy to do our part in a state budget, which is not easy because we don't have the money we used to have for the tolls to support this project and put our state match in for the federal grant. But we will continue to do that. I also want to recognize Representative David Bennett. I don't know, he's right behind, there he is. That's why I can't see him. He's behind me. He's chairman of he's a Warwick representative. He's chairman of the House Environmental Committee, and you won't find a more passionate believer in Warwick and the state. Projects like these can't be carried out without the full cooperation of everyone at every level. And I want to say that it takes a team to get things done, and we have a very talented team. I cannot also leave the podium without recognizing our friends in the labor community, not only Mike Holmes from the Carpenters, but especially Mike Sabatoni and the laborers in the building and trade construction trades. I know Mike feels passionately about development, as his entire team. I want to congratulate him. He is the head of the Laborers International in this country, and I certainly want to recognize Dan Bianchi. He's also took over as the head of the laborers here in Rhode Island. We could not have two better fine people to work with and partners in government. The reconstruction of 37 is absolutely essential, and this is a great team effort tonight. The winners ultimately will be all of Rhode Islanders who will benefit from safe bridges and roads along with a great corridor for traffic in and out of Warwick and around the airport. It now gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce my good friend, the senior senator for Rhode Island, who sits on the Senate Appropriations Committee, Jack Reed.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you very much, Speaker, for not only those kind words, but for your incredible leadership in the State House. It's really a pleasure to be here to celebrate this infusion of federal funds into the Rhode Island transportation infrastructure. I want to recognize, of course, Governor McKee for his leadership. My colleagues in the Congress, this is a joint effort of what we do. Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Magaziner, Mayor Picozzi, thank you, because again, this is every level of government participating. And Derek Torrey from the Federal Highway Administrator. Derek, thank you for the work you do, it's essential. Mike Sabatoni from the building trades. As Joe pointed out, they do so much, they do it so well, and they make sure that we stay on target. I can assure you that. A final big shout out to Director Alviti and the DOT team. I've known the director since we were 13 years old, and we learned a lesson back then. Find the brightest people you can, let them do great work, and then take credit for it. So, Peter, congratulations to you. I also want to recognize some of my colleagues in government because, as has been mentioned, this is a multi-level, multi-dimensional task, and State Senator Hannah Gallo and Representative David Bennett, Council President Steve McAllister, Councilman Jeremy Ricks, and North Kingston Councilman Greg Mancini. So thank you all for being here today.
It's been nearly 2 years since Congress passed the Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It's an historic investment in the nation. And under the bill, Rhode Island will receive an estimated $1.8 billion in formula funding for our bridges and highways. And in this week, in the Senate Appropriations Committee, I was able to support an extra $60 million for Rhode Island to help fix our bridges. We created a program a few years ago for distressed states with distressed bridges, and it turns out Rhode Island every year gets the most money. Just coincidence, I'm sure. The state's also able to compete for additional programs like RAISE, and back in 2009 we were involved in creating the RAISE program, and I was very proud just this week to include, and previously to include, $7.5 billion for the program overall for the nation. And our IDOT is taking full advantage, RIDOT is taking full advantage of that opportunity. With this $25 billion award, RIDOT will embark on the third and final phase of the Route 37 development. It'll make the road safer, reduce congestion, expand pedestrian access, and they're also creating a new separate bicycle path and removing outdated and unnecessary infrastructure. This is a win-win-win. And it will provide, I think, increased economic incentives for the city of Warwick and for the entire Rhode Island community. With that, I'd like to recognize my partner and someone who has carried a lot of this weight getting us here today, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
Thank you, Jack. It is great to be here with Senator Reed and Congressman Magaziner. I want to thank Governor McKee and Speaker Shikarchi and the Department of Transportation for their work making all this happen. For many years, the state borrowed its state share out of the federal money. That has stopped, but it makes Speaker Shikarchi have to have a real problem of making sure that the funding gets through. So I'm very grateful to the Speaker, to his colleague, Representative Bennett, to his colleague across the building, Senator Gallo, for the support that the Rhode Island General Assembly has provided to make these projects possible. I want to recognize Mayor Picozzi, who's a very happy guy who's about to get more city land, and Council President McAllister and members of the city councils who are here. I will join everyone in welcoming Administrator Torrey and saluting Mike Sabatoni and our building trades leaders who have done such a good job of making sure that these projects get done efficiently, effectively, professionally, on budget, on time, and well. As we sit here getting ready for 37 to be improved, which is a really important project. It's one of our key east-west links here in Rhode Island. This $25 million brings to $66 million the amount of federal money that has gone into the 37 improvement in various stages, and this will bring it to its conclusion. We're very, very happy about that. We're very happy about the land that it opens up for Mayor Picozzi and for the state to do further economic development. And the federal programs that have supported this are in action right now all around Rhode Island. We've got the 37 project happening right behind us. If you're driving through Apponaug through those rotaries and notice how much less traffic there is now than there was years ago, that was another Tiger grant that supported that. The traffic zipping by through our city of Providence in the viaduct is an infra-federal project that was sped up by the federal government. Right now, a lot of work is taking place on Route 146 as part of a big federal grant for 146, and the Pell Bridge to Newport is being rebuilt and made safe as a result of yet a third major federal grant. So a lot of federal money is being used to support our Rhode Island transportation infrastructure, and as a member of the Environment and Public Works Committee, makes me very happy to see these public works taking place in Rhode Island. And with that, let me hand it off to our congressman, the senior member of the congressional delegation, Seth Magaziner.
Thank you very much. Well, good morning, everyone. It is really great to be here. This is a great day. I want to recognize my colleagues in the delegation. We work together as a team, but every team needs a captain, and Jack Reed does a phenomenal job leading our delegation and delivering resources back to Rhode Island. Senator Whitehouse, who's the chair of the Budget Committee and makes sure that resources go to where they can have the most impact, including right here in Rhode Island. Governor McKee, Director Alviti, Speaker Shikarchi, Representative Bennett, Senator Gallo, who have always prioritized rebuilding Rhode Island's roads and bridges. Mayor Picozzi and the members of the council, thank you very much for your work. And I especially want to thank and recognize the representatives of the men and women who are actually going to be doing the work. The men and women of the building trades. I know we have the laborers here, the iron workers, the carpenters. If there are others I'm missing, I apologize. But the men and women who are going to be out here actually transforming this landscape, they deserve our praise and our thanks. And yes. And also the people at Belize for hosting us. I drive a 17-year-old Tacoma, so I'm in that service center a lot, and they do a terrific job. These projects are not just about roads and bridges, they are about people. The people of Rhode Island who are going to be able to get to work faster. The parents whose children are going to get to school safely because of this work. The businesses and their employees all through Warwick and Cranston who are going to have more commerce and more traffic and more revenue when we open all of this up. And, as has been said before, the development that is going to occur from opening up all of this land, it is in a dense state like Rhode Island, it is hard to find places to build. We are opening up land for development that will strengthen our economy, that is more money in people's pockets. This is not just about roads and bridges, this is about putting more money into the pockets of working Rhode Islanders, and that is why this is such an important announcement. So I want to thank everybody who has a role in making this happen. We're going to have good jobs, safer streets, faster commutes because of this, a cleaner environment, and this is just one of many projects that we are going to be pushing forward in the months and years to come. So thank you very much, everybody. And with that, I am going to introduce Rhode Island's representative from the Federal Transit Authority, Derek Torrey, who's also my new neighbor in Cranston. So welcome.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Derek Torrey. I'm the Division Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration's Rhode Island Division. I'm really excited to be with you all today. I love seeing progress, and we have a lot of it going on here in Rhode Island. So on behalf of my boss, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, I want to offer the folks at RIDOT and all the people of Rhode Island my congratulations on receiving this $25 million RAISE grant award. This is really a big thing to be proud of. I know we hear from our delegation and everything about all the money that they're bringing to Rhode Island, but this is a big deal. Winning a RAISE grant is not easy. The RAISE program, which stands for Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity, previously known as the TIGER program, these grants are competitive grants, and it's really competitive. The competition is fierce. This year, USDOT received over $15 billion of requests for RAISE grants, $15 billion. But we only had about $2.25 billion to give out. So out of that $15 billion, this project was one that made it to the top. And really, it's a great project. It was clear from that where it beat everything out. You know, you've heard from all of my colleagues here today, 6 bridges being rehabilitated or replaced, bicycle pedestrian infrastructure, removing the overbuilt interchange, make it safer for all users. It checked all the boxes that Secretary Buttigieg is looking for what is a great project in America today. And as my colleagues also said, it's a really great example of how everyone in Rhode Island is working together to get things done. From the state level, the local level, federal leaders all coming together around a common cause to make progress and literally to build bridges. And so I've said it before and I will say it again, the teamwork is bringing results. And we at the Federal Highway Administration are happy to be part of that, to be at the table in moving things forward. So I want to thank RIDOT for putting together a great grant application package. That's a really hard thing that, you know, it's minutia and we don't talk about, but I know Pam Cotter and her staff do a fantastic job, and we're excited to be partners in this progress. I also want to thank the governor, the congressional delegation. I even heard that Senator Reed back there went straight to my boss to make the case to the secretary, which seems to have made a difference. So that investment by our entire federal delegation really makes a difference in bringing this money here to Rhode Island. So you combine that with the roughly $400 million a year that Rhode Island is receiving from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, and this is delivering once-in-a-generation change. We have the biggest investment in bridges since the interstate highway system. You know, we're going to change our infrastructure for the better, bring everything into a state of good repair, and while we're at it, improve commute times, create jobs. It's win-win all around. So again, my congratulations on this $25 million raise grant. This is a really big deal. I look forward to seeing the progress of it, and encourage you all, when you're out driving, wear your seatbelt. Now it's my honor to introduce the mayor of the city of Warwick, Mayor Frank Picozzi.
I don't have any prepared statements. I'm batting eighth in the lineup, and I'm not sure you even have your cameras on anymore. Probably in the spring of 2021, we started talking about this with the DOT, with team meetings, and when they originally proposed this to me, doing this over here, my answer was an enthusiastic over my dead body. I didn't like the plan they had, and to Director Alvidi's credit, they worked with me. They went through several different versions of this. They kept changing it and tailoring it until it became acceptable. It became a great plan. I have a very good relationship with Director Alvidi. I've called into the Gene Valicenti show and complained to him on the air. We do a lot of projects together that don't get this notice. But this, as it has to do with Warwick, this area is probably one of the worst traffic areas. It's a nightmare in Warwick. The traffic will often queue up past the old Ann and Hope, yes, Rhode Islandism, and people will stay in two lanes and illegally merge from the left lane over to the right. It's very dangerous. It's impossible for a pedestrian to get through, and something needed to be changed here. And this plan, I think, is finally going to solve that problem here. We probably have, this is probably in at least the top 3 areas in Warwick where accidents occurred. A lot of them are minor, but some of them are major. Getting off 37 is very dangerous. It's running the gambit that you really don't have the visibility to see if the cars are coming. There's a lot of speeding, so I'm very pleased with this. And you know, I like the plan they have. The first thing I did when I got here is take Director Alvidi over there and show him how I'd like a few different changes, additional changes. So we're going to keep talking about it. So again, I really want to commend him and his staff, you know, for including Warwick in this. This is a lot better for my city. Thank you.
All right, so as always, last but not least, and here's my speech, so don't worry, it won't be too long, but on behalf of the Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council, these type of events I really enjoy on behalf of the men and women that we represent, as well as the men and women that call Rhode Island their home. And you know, you use the word team, and you look at the team behind me. I can't say how often I speak with Governor McKee, how often I speak with Director Alvidi, our congressional delegation led by Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse. I did say to Senator Whitehouse, though, he's on TV a little too late lately. I like to be in bed by 9:30, so I know you like Lawrence O'Donnell, but there's a couple other news shows that are earlier that would be more conducive to my bedtime. But when you look at these type of projects, and obviously Congressman Magaziner and the whole team that's behind me, when you look at things of this nature, I use the word impact. What is the impact of a infrastructure project like this? Well, the impact is quality of life for all Rhode Islanders, more convenient travel in a modern infrastructure system, impact for the business community, goods and services to market quicker, impact for good paying union jobs for men and women in the building trades, and then as we build these jobs, working with Peter and his staff, the inclusion of young men and women, including diverse populations, to come in through pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship and start their career on projects such as this in the building trades. I don't know of anything that has a better impact that checks as many boxes as investments in ourselves being via infrastructure. And you know, everybody's been watching the news lately, and our president, President Biden, has been traveling around talking about Bidenomics. Well, here it is, right here. And I don't know where some people are saying that they think the economy is going in the wrong direction. I would ask them to drive around and look around and see the investments that we're making. As Senator Whitehouse had mentioned, in Route 146, in the viaduct, in Newport, as the governor has mentioned, investments in all four corners of the state of Rhode Island, and not only in roads and bridges and water and sewer, in all the things at the end of the day that sometimes we take for granted. But not having these modern infrastructure investments so that we can keep pace with our competitors north and south is critical for us in our future in the state of Rhode Island. So I love these type of events because of all of the impacts that I had mentioned. And I usually close on infrastructure projects with this statement that the road to construction and prosperity is always under construction. So thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here. There is one more thanks that I'd like to give. I love the folks behind me. I mean, we've got a partnership amongst us that is getting a lot of work done in the state, but I love my folks from DOT. The people that plan the work and work the plan and get the money and the funding in the ground effectively that results in the public good, and I thank them for that. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them. Yes?
How much money is being saved by tearing down the bridge instead of repairing?
Good question. We're saving literally tens of millions of dollars, not only in the reconstruction not having to happen. In other words, we don't have to invest probably another $10 million for each of the bridges to reconstruct them. But in the long term, since they're of absolutely no use for transportation anyway, in the long term, it will save hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 50 years in the maintenance of those bridges that we won't have to do anymore. So they were useless bridges. Why pay to maintain them for the next 50 years?
Who's going to be working on this phase 3 part of the project?
Phase 3 is a design-build project. In an effort, my folks put together not only an imaginative plan, but an imaginative way to execute the work, which means that they're already in the process of putting together the procurement for a design and build team that will hire together to both design it and build it in a shorter period of time and start a lot sooner. They're already off the drawing boards and ready to put this out to bid.
One more question. What about the part of the project by Reservoir Avenue? What's going on over there? When will that be completed?
The bridge at Reservoir Avenue we expect to be completed. It's open to traffic. Finally, it was a challenge because of the limitations that Amtrak as an organization put on our ability and our contractors' ability to do that work. But we've completed to the point where the bridge is open to traffic and pedestrians, and we expect to finish that up during the next few months. Any other questions? Great. Thank you all.